101 Monday morning quarterback with former quarterback at Notre Dame, Evan Sharpley. Notre Dame goes to 4-1 on the season after a 52-17 win over Miami of Ohio. And Evan, it was a very interesting game.
Yeah, pretty boring second half, really. And I mean, Notre Dame did what they were supposed to do in the first half. They came out and smacked Miami of Ohio right in the mouth. I thought the offensive line was one of their best games, especially that starting group was one of their best games, blocking both the run and the pass. I thought they did a nice job. Obviously, Josh Adams having an explosive first quarter set the tone for the game, and really it was over pretty early. But that's what you have to do with teams that come into Notre Dame Stadium that aren't at that same caliber as Notre Dame. They took care of business early, and the game was obviously well in hand pretty early, and it was nice to see. You'd like to see 4 quarters of play, continuing some of that point output, but I thought it was an opportunity for some younger guys to get some experience in play, and that's always good for the program too.
Well, really, rushing the ball was the bread and butter for the Irish, 333 yards on 39 carries. But I'm more interested in the assessment by you of quarterback Brandon Wimbush. Was this a good game for him?
Well, I mean, if you look at the stats, what's nice is he still threw 3 touchdowns. I didn't think it was one of Brandon's better games. And I thought, aside from a couple of throws where he was in rhythm for most of the game, he's pretty late on his read. Really wasn't seeing the field very well, which it's a little concerning. But he's still young, and I think that's really what the staff is trying to encourage him with. Is he's still seeing some things for the first time, the speed of the game. It's pretty evident that it's his what he's seeing, and then what the physical side, those aren't really linking up at this point. So, but you're seeing the glimpses. So when he is in rhythm, when his timing is on point, and he's seeing the field well, he's making some great throws. But certainly for him, and I know Irish fans too, pretty frustrating when you have the type of time he had to pass with the offensive line doing a great job blocking, and he's completing around 38-40% of his passes for the game. That's a concern, but he's still accounted for 28 points of the 52. So with the output, I mean, that's really what you're looking at. And I kind of always joke around, stats are for losers, but certainly you do want your quarterbacks, the 4 total touchdowns, protecting football, no turnovers. But I mean, he's got to get better for this team to take another step offensively. See what they can do on the ground, especially against teams like Boston College, like Temple, like Miami of Ohio, and what I think they'll do against North Carolina this week. But when they're going to play some of these teams that have a little more athletic front seven and physical front seven, perhaps like USC or NC State or what we saw against Georgia, you're going to have a guy that's going to be able to complete 60 or 70% of his passes and be very efficient through the air.
I guess the question I have to ask, are we expecting too much of Brandon Wimbush? And an excellent point about the offensive line, but I noticed his feet. He had a lot of time in the pocket, and he sat there in what I would call happy feet. He was dancing in the pocket. Did you take this as a positive, or what does he need to do to get to that next level? Because a lot of Irish fans are kind of getting a little bit impatient.
Well, I think the expectations were high. I mean, they were high for me. I've had a chance to work with Brandon, and I saw what he did in the offseason. I saw he did the spring and the summer and the fall. So, I think the expectations. A lot of people thought he's going to come in and really, I think, kind of light everything on fire, and it hasn't been that way, especially through the air. He's doing some great things with his feet. But the throwing side is there, the talent is there. He's still a young quarterback in terms of the number of collegiate starts he has under his belt. The word is this what it's going to be like for the duration? And sometimes it just clicks for guys. And kind of the example I use is on each play, there's a lot that's going on, and I know it's I use the same example over and over again. He's getting in a play that could sound somewhat like this. You get a play that's zero out, slot alert, fifth. You have 36 subs, swing alert. You have 130 cross X. Go check down, double cadence on one. Now you've got 2 plays in one there. You have to get to the line of scrimmage and make your read, decide if it's going to be a run or a pass, and you have to do all of this, of course, before the play clock goes down. So for a young quarterback, there's a lot to digest. He's still digesting a lot of that. But to your question about his movement in the pocket, I'd like to see him be a little more subtle. I didn't think he needed to move his feet as much. And what I've been talking about a lot, since the Georgia game, I think that his internal clock has sped up a little bit. He got beat up a little bit, he got pressured. But then on the other side, he's had some success running. So I think right now what you're seeing is a quarterback who wants to sit in the pocket and throw, but because he's had some success with his feet, and because with an athletic front seven like Georgia had, putting some pressure on him, that clock speeds up a little bit. So he's wanting to eject out of the pocket when really, and especially against Miami of Ohio, the pocket was really clean, and he could have just patiently stood in the pocket and watched the plays develop. So that's something that he's going to have to hash out, whether it's in practice or it's game reps. He's got to get that figured out. That could be a mental thing more than a physical thing at this point.
He's Evan Sharpley, Monday Morning Quarterback on Irish 101. And Evan, a question for you. The final question is, what will Brandon and the coaches need to work on this week as they prepare for North Carolina?
Well, it's going to be continuing to kind of have some timing with the wide receivers. It was nice to see Equinemius St. Brown get a touchdown. You have three different guys catching touchdown passes. That's good to see. Chase Claypool, I think his role is going to continue. But really just get on the same page with wide receivers and the tight end and make sure that the timing is correct. And I think this past game, Miami of Ohio and then UNC as well, it's really going to be less about game planning specifically for those teams and more about just settling into the identity that Brian Kelly and Chip Long have set up for these guys. So it's going to be establishing a run early, and all signs point to Josh Adams and Dexter Williams and Tony Jones all being able to play, especially those top two guys. And then I think the big word is consistency in the passing game, and that's going to start in practice. So Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and then it's a walkthrough on Friday. It's going to be about valuing each throw. That'll be during warm-ups, into team settings and 7-on-7. So that, come Saturday, you're seeing a pretty balanced and efficient attack with both the run and the pass.
He's Evan Sharpley, and this is Monday Morning Quarterback on Irish 101.